It looks like Saraya's AEW contract is expiring soon. This according to a new report courtesy of FightfulSelect.com. We're going to tell you what we know about the situation, when her deal could be up, and could Saraya, aka Paige, be headed back to WWE. We're also going to talk about Pat McAfee, a big shakeup in WWE as Pat McAfee is leaving the company, at least for a little bit here, and is going to be replaced. We're going to talk about the big shakeup on the WWE announce front, all that and much more coming up right here in this video. So be sure to smash that like button like there's no tomorrow, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. Okay, let's dive right in and talk about the Saraya situation. As we have followed throughout the past couple of months, there have been speculation about Saraya potentially wanting out of her deal. There's been speculation that her deal may be coming up with AEW. Remember, she signed a contract back 2 years ago, nearly at this point, 2 years ago in 2022, where she debuted at AEW Grand Slam in New York. And now we are learning, again, courtesy of FightfulSelect.com, that her deal could be expiring soon. Here's what we know. Quote, a former world champion could see their AEW, let me start that over. A former world champion could see their contract expire next month. Saraya, formerly known as Paige, has held world titles in All Elite Wrestling, WWE, and NXT. However, within a few months, she could end up on the free agent market, sources tell Fightful. We've learned the, quote, fighting with my family, unquote, inspirations deal with AEW extends at least until September, where there were option years, but instead something else is likely on the table. The nature of the option years has been up for debate internally, as sources claim each side held them. However, we can confirm that the two sides have at least been in talks regarding extending the current deal for a year, whether it be with a new contract or the option being exercise. I got myself through that one, guys. But this is massive because we did not really foresee Saraya's deal coming up. Again, there had been speculation, there had been rumor, innuendo, all that kind of stuff around this. However, we had not seen material support to back this up until now. And again, FightfulSelect.com has $5 in the business. They are very reliable when it comes to this, and go read the full report in the description when you get a chance. But this is an interesting turn of events, right? It seems like we're coming at a kind of a crossroads with Saraya. Her first year in AEW was weirdly underwhelming, but had a really big kind of end because she ended up winning the AEW Women's World Championship at Wembley Stadium, 80,000 people, all that kind of stuff in her hometown. And it was a huge moment. It felt like they had finally, pulled the trigger, and they said, all right, we are going to establish Saraya as one of our key stars in our women's division. And ever since then, she lost the belt, and we had barely seen her on TV in a meaningful way. She had been doing this stuff with her brother, and while some of it was entertaining with Harley Quinn, it wasn't up to par with what you would expect from a former world champion. That is just the truth. And Saraya is someone who I think should be put in serious situations, and I understand maybe there's some trepidation about using her if you don't want to risk re-injuring her neck. Obviously, that's a very important thing to be aware of with all of this. Saraya did not wrestle for the past 4 or 5 years leading up to her return to All Elite Wrestling because of her neck injury, because it was thought to be so bad that she could not return to the ring, and if she took a move the wrong way, she could be paralyzed. And obviously, no one wants that. No one wants to speak that into existence. That's just what the situation was. But at the same time, you also can present her as an important star. You can present her as an important character on your TV show. AEW was just not doing that for the past year. And I think it kind of came to a head with this weird situation. There was a tweet that was put out there that may or may not have called out AEW and her booking and all that kind of stuff. We covered that in a previous video a couple of months ago. But the reality is that we are, like I said, at a crossroads with Saraya. And her deal coming up in September, I think, could open the door for her to return to WWE. And look, you're WWE right now. You're about to make this big move over to Netflix. You want to make sure you have stars and you have characters, more importantly than that, to bolster all the hours of television across Raw, SmackDown, NXT that you're going to have. You might think about bringing Saraya in. You might think about a reunion with Paige and seeing what that could entail. We don't know if WWE would clear her. That would be a hurdle, certainly. But I do think that there would be a spot for her there as a character, at least. And that is one thing that WWE is known to do. Like, look, you might not be able to wrestle right now, but we're going to bring you in as a character. And they are much better and better suited, quite frankly, to do that than a company like AEW would be, because AEW puts wrestling first, whereas WWE puts the sports entertainment first, right? So that's kind of where we are. It does seem like there's movement there, according to that report, that they are talking, which could indicate that they would at least pick up that 1-year option in addition to what she already has left in her deal. Again, Grand Slam was at the end of the month, so somewhere mid to late September is probably when that deal is going to be up for either a renewal or up in general. So something's going to come to a head very soon, and we're going to hear about it likely very soon, but we'll see. I mean, this could be an interesting domino to fall, to say the least. And again, the pendulum has been swinging in WWE's direction. If we see a world where Paige here ends up going back over to WWE, a lot of free agents just finding their way into WWE. So we'll see what happens there, though. Obviously, Paige, one of the best wrestlers of the past generation. I really do hope we get to see her do more in WWE or in AEW, for that matter. I truly think that she is like one of those generational, like figures in wrestling. And I think, you can't write the story of the women's evolution without Paige. So hopefully we can see her do something cool soon. As we move on to our next topic, let's talk about Mr. Pat McAfee. No, his name is Pat McAfee. Pat McAfee is leaving WWE, at least for the time being. McAfee posted on X today that today was going to be his last WWE show for a while. And he seemed to be a little bit emotional about it. Of course, we know Pat McAfee also hosts, in addition to WWE Raw, he was also a host for College Game Day. That is the college football Saturdays, like countdown show that airs on ESPN before every single big college football game. And he is a key figure on that. He is getting paid a lot of money by ESPN to do that, as well as to host the Pat McAfee Show live on ESPN. So for Pat, we knew this was going to be something that he had to go and do, and it was understood. And that's why they announced at SummerSlam that Joe Tessitore, ironically enough, former Monday Night Football commentator, Joe Tessitore, would be coming in to kind of shake things up on the commentary front. Here's what we know as of now. Joe Tessitore will lead the play-by-play duties on Monday Night Raw, which means Michael Cole will be moving over to SmackDown. However, when Netflix ends up getting WWE in January and Raw makes that move over to that platform, Pat McAfee and Michael Cole will be reunited on Monday Night Raw. So this little shift is going to be kind of a short-term thing. And I think, in a way, it's going to be a test for Joe Tessitore to see if he's really up to snuff. We remember Adnan Virk. Love him. He's a great baseball guy. He's a great sports analyst in that respect. He was just not good at WWE commentary. Hopefully, Joe Tessitore is a lot better than that. He seems to be a lifelong professional wrestling fan. He claims to be one, and he claims to know a lot about the product. So hopefully, we don't have that same level of gap in the knowledge and understanding how to call professional wrestling, because calling wrestling is different than calling NFL, NBA, etc. So we'll see what happens there. I think there's going to be a little bit of a trial period there for Joe Tessitore as the lead guy on Raw, but it would seem that either Corey Graves or Stu Bennett, one of the two, is going to be moving over to Monday Night Raw as well as part of this move. So we'll see who that ends up being. I could see them in January when the move to Raw, Raw's move to Netflix is official. I could see a situation where they end up having a 3-man booth if Joe Tessitore works out. You have Corey Graves, Stu Bennett, and Joe Tessitore leading on SmackDown. We'll see if that ends up happening, but McAfee departing from the company, at least for the short term, he will be back, it seems, and I would expect him to do something. I could see him being in the Royal Rumble. Like Pat McAfee, one thing we know about him is he's up for anything, and he will do just about anything when it comes to professional wrestling. So we'll see what happens there, but don't expect to see Pat back for at least the next couple of months. Let me know in the comments section, though, what you guys think. What do you guys think about the big shakeup on WWE commentary? Do you think it's going to work out? Do you think it might not be? Or bring back Jimmy Smith. He was actually pretty decent, honestly, at the job. I miss Jimmy Smith. He was good. Fake Joe Rogan, hell yeah. Why not? Bring him back. Hopefully without the baggage, though. Anyway, shout out to Jimmy Smith. Guys, also let me know in the comment section what you guys think about Saraya and her contract update. What do you think about her deal potentially expiring? Will she come back to WWE? Who would you want to see her face? Let me know in the comments. Also, be sure to smash that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you get notified whenever a new video is released. And until next time, be happy, be healthy, and as always, keep it real.